Coming to you in 3, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, with all due respect, this is your boy BK. And I'm coming to y'all live and direct from inside the studio that we're going to be producing Cooking It Right. Helping you guys understand how to make approachable, fresh, homemade cooking the player way. That's not gonna be the tagline, but I just like saying the player way because I've been saying that forever. But we are gonna make sure you're cooking it right. You caught me in an interesting mood. This is the day that Kobe Bryant died, so I got my hoodie on and I'm not really feeling like vlogging at all. I dropped a funny video of me dancing in the studio, just kind of doing a screen test. The more I do this and the more people like, when I started off, I was somebody who was being taught and was being mentored. And then eventually at some point you become a mentor. And the more you learn, the more you realize that you had the right thing, the right elements along the whole time. And so all you're doing at a certain point is building confidence in trusting your ability, and eventually you just have to be willing to put it all on the line and take a risk. So that's what's going down. And the reason why that's important is because lately I've been finding myself thinking about that time. And the video you saw me when I was instructing you on how to properly administer your Douglas, otherwise teaching you how to Dougie. That was just a screen test that I was doing on our studio to make sure everything was balanced. And I saw some things in those videos that I need to fix, but I also saw some things that were great. And what's cool is the studio that I recreated is a studio it's a studio model that I've had since the beginning. And the more and more I travel around and learn about creating a really cool cyc wall experience, white seamless backdrop that's kind of like the default for most studios that you would rent out here in Atlanta, the more I realized that model that we had at SP Agency works. All you have to do is continue to work in post-production and get better at that. So when Rachel and I decided to make the studio, we decided to go with that model. So it's actually in our dining room, just kind of panning around and everything. It's kind of cluttered in here right now because we're still building, but so you can see some of our pictures and stuff like that. Rachel has this really cool restored Edison, I believe it is. It's an Edison record player. It's like hardcore. She does that. She gets like old cameras and stuff like that, and restores things like that. So that's like one of her side hobbies. But so we basically got rid of our dining room, and then what it's done is we got this really cool table that we got at this thrift store that we had a long time ago in Duluth called Saks Thrift Avenue. Shout out to anybody who remembers them. And it's solid, it's adjustable, and it's going to allow us to do all of the videography and stuff we need with the KitchenAid and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's kind of cool that it's right outside of our kitchen, and we got our little insignia induction burner and all of that stuff. And yeah, got our KitchenAid right there, mixer. So we'll have all kinds of gadgets that we'll be showcasing, and we'll be doing our instructional videos on. So yeah, so again, I've been kind of bummed about Kobe Bryant and everything. I don't want to get too much into that. I'm just kind of giving context for why I'm kind of in a weird mood that you don't probably see me in. You're seeing a level of I can't even explain like kind of the vibe I got going right now. Vibe. By the way, vibe. Shout out to J Daniel Clothing. I got this hoodie from J Daniel. J Daniel is one of the jacks of trade from State of Play. He's going into a venture, so shout out to him. Support J Daniel Clothing. I'll put a link in the description where you can get access to his clothing. But he has some really cool urban-inspired designs, very creative. And his stuff is totally for creatives who are working on building their confidence and deciding that they are enough. So that's what's going down there. Um, a little about, since we're talking about SP agency, a little bit about the Douglas video that I just got to talking about, the Dougie. The reason why I chose that, the reason why I chose that kind of look is because it's actually a throwback. If you're an old fan of SP agency, you'll remember that when we had digital shorts, right before the digital shorts would come on, when I was back in college, there would be a little snippet that would come on, and I'd walk across the screen. I remember the first time I did it. It was for when we did a thing with the four guys. Shout out to all of them. And I had like this. It was this thing that I just did, and it got a really good reaction. So I started putting it on all of our videos. And so when I did the Dougie, I was moved to kind of do that, recreate that scene, but do it with kind of like an updated version of myself and seeing the difference. So if you were a longtime fan of that, you probably saw that and probably got the benefit of that. Oh, I see what that is. I see what you did there. So shout out to all y'all who were there since the beginning. Yeah, so inside the studio, we're going to continue to make really good content. We're getting there. As you can see, this is the road to Cooking It Right. This one won't be super, super long at all. We got a really busy week coming up. Rachel has a video coming out because she worked yesterday in the studio on creating a video about making homemade butter. She gets a lot of questions about hashtag homemade is better. She's really passionate. Well, I'm passionate about proteins and elevated protein dinners like steaks and brick chicken and making like these dinners. Rachel's really passionate about confections, like making caramel from scratch, making butter from scratch, reproducing the Texas Roadhouse dinner rolls. There's gonna be an episode where she actually reproduces the Texas Roadhouse. In fact, what we're gonna do is we're gonna reproduce an entire Texas Roadhouse meal. My favorite meal at Texas Roadhouse to this day is the chicken fried steak meal with mashed potatoes, some sort of greens on the side, and then their dinner rolls. So, and their butter. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a two-part episode. It'll be our episode numbers 1 and 2. First episode will be the Texas Roadhouse rolls. She worked really freaking hard over the holiday season to the point where we both gained a lot of weight. There was a week where we ate nothing but rolls because like we were so food geeks, and so like there was a period of time where she made like 7 batches of rolls. And like the first 3 or 4 were like, it smells right, but the yeast isn't rising exactly like we thought it would and all this other stuff. And she got really disheartened. But every day we just pressed on. Like she would make a couple batches a day for like a straight like 4-day period. Then she like skipped the day when she got it right. And then she did it again to try something else, try a different type of yeast. So we looked online for the recipe. And what we learned is that no one really had the full recipe because, of course, Texas Roadhouse is not giving out the recipe to people. Otherwise, what's the point? How dare you? So what we did is we took a couple different recipes. If you're a fan of sous vide everything, Guga Foods, he had a recipe, and his amounts. Even though I respect Guga, I love Guga. Bro, you need to change your description. Like, like the recipe was all wrong. Like it was saying that you needed way too much honey. It was like a hell of honey, and it ended up making them like really heavy. There was so much honey in the recipe that the yeast couldn't eat enough of it, and it couldn't rise, so it got really dense. But Rachel eventually endeavored. She figured it out, and they are freaking amazing rolls. I'm on keto right now, so I can't have them. But we will have an episode where we make those. I'm going to make chicken fried steak because when I first started making chicken fried steak, I asked where was the cube steak located on the cow. And if you don't get that joke, there is no such thing as a cube steak on a cow. Not necessarily. Like cube steak is something that I'll explain later and how it works. And so I'll make a cube steak version, and then I'll make a elevated ribeye version that was gonna taste amazing because ribeyes are already like amazingly tender. So you're going to see really elevated chicken fried steak that's going to be better than you would get at Texas Roadhouse. You're going to get some blanching of greens and how to get the best flavor out of some greens. And when I say greens, I don't mean, for the black people watching, I don't mean like ham hocks and collards. I mean like just some sort of cruciferous vegetable that will go with so it's not such a dense meal. And then we'll have mashed potatoes in that episode. And then we'll probably also do like a keto mashed potato, because people seem to like the keto mashed potato that I do, which is really just cauliflower. Along with the first episode that's going to drop in March, it'll be like March 4th. It's like a Monday or Sunday. It's probably going to be a Sunday. We're going to drop them on Sundays, is what we said. And then along with that, you're going to get 10 episodes of a series called Cooking It Right Essentials. And what that's going to be is that all 10 of those short episodes are going to come out before the first episode. And it's going to be, if you watch all 10 of the episodes, you're going to be able to, if you're aspiring to be a better home cook and maybe even be a chef someday, this is going to give you the essentials of what types of knives that you need. Like, what's the difference between a Santoku blade and a 8-inch chef knife, or a Mezzaluna knife, like different things like that. Like what knives are BS and which ones you actually need. Proper ways of chopping, blanching, the mother sauces, teaching you the mother sauces. Whenever I make my macaroni and cheese, I don't use Velveeta. I don't use any sort of liquid cheese base. I don't put stupid stuff in it like you see on my Facebook page. Some people put too much stuff in macaroni and cheese, and they do it because they don't know how to make bechamel. They don't know how to make mother sauces. They don't know how to make gravies and stuff like that. If you know how to make the mother sauces, you can make the base of any cream sauce. And I'm going to show you how to make really dope cheese sauce, bechamels, gravies, such, so that you don't have to buy powdered stuff. You can be like my wife and say #homemade is better, because it's just better. Especially if you're trying to be healthy and you want to know what's going in your food. But again, Rachel has an episode. It's going to come out. It's not going to come out like on YouTube. It's going to be a little short. Whenever we do little short snippets of something, we're going to put that out on Facebook stories with the little, you've been seeing a little theme song and ending theme. So that'll come out. And so she'll do like a easy 3 steps of why butter made homemade is better. And then the steps in making homemade butter and why it's so great for me keto wise. Actually, I can go ahead and tell you that right now, because she's probably not going to expound on it. Rachel's not big into the science. Long story long, butter made from scratch is better because it doesn't have to use this stuff. See this? This is Morton salt. Morton salt is just regular table salt. Now, while they have iodide-free salt, classically, table salt is full of iodine. Now, why is that important? Well, iodine, or iodine, however you like to say it, it was important because your body needs iodine to a certain extent. And back in the day, there was no supply of iodine through normal food delivery. And so food companies figured, hey, I'll put iodine in food, in salt rather, and you'll get the minerals that you need, right? Well, the problem with iodine is if you put iodine in food, then your body starts to flush out other minerals from that you should supposed to get from salt. Like, for example, let me say it a better way. If you put iodine in salt, the other minerals that you're supposed to get, like magnesium and potassium and all those other things, it basically fucks with the chemical composition of the salt, and you get a bunch of iodine but nothing else, which is why a lot of salts don't contain iodine anymore. But here's the problem. If you look at the ingredients, yes, it doesn't contain iodine anymore, but it also doesn't have a lot of those nutrients you need. And if you do keto, hear me, if you're doing keto the right way, clean keto, you're going to get, especially if you're a big guy like me. I started over 400 pounds doing keto. I've lost around 24 pounds. And you get hella cramps. Like, you get really bad body cramps because your body is losing, when you do keto, you're losing weight but along with the fat that you're losing and the water you're losing, you lose a lot of water. When you lose all of that, you're also losing a lot of electrolytes. And with those electrolytes, you're losing magnesium, you're losing potassium, and you're losing salt too. So what's funny is my doctors would tell me classically that I'm a black man over the age of 35. I do not need no black man killer, aka salt, NaCl, sodium chloride. But if you're living right and you're eating well, you need minerals. You need more minerals. So pink Himalayan sea salt, while it's true that not all salt that's pink is Himalayan sea salt, and not all Himalayan sea salt has the minerals. So you want to make sure that when you look at Himalayan sea salt, whatever kind you get, that it has the natural ingredients in it, that it's actually naturally mined. I'm actually looking for a different type of salt because I'm hearing that Himalayan sea salt is actually terrible. Like it's being overmined. And eventually there'll be a point where there's no more pink Himalayan sea salt. So I'm looking for other salts. So if you know about other salts that are high in minerals, like electrolytes that I need, please tell me down there. Just look down there and post something and let me know. I know I got some know-it-alls that watch this video. So it's your opportunity to tell BK what to do, and I'll probably do it. But Himalayan sea salt is what we use. That's what she used in the video in the butter. Which brings me to my next point. When you're making butter, keto, the cornerstone of a true clean ketoer is bulletproof coffee. And bulletproof coffee is full of nutrients if you put it in there the right way. I feel silly. But essentially, you feel like a crazy person drinking black Folgers crystals, which is what I drink. Because some people get super overdone with coffee. But like, I just do real basic Folgers crystals, and I put in MCT oil, which is incredibly good for you if you're doing keto, and then I also do butter, and I use the homemade cream butter, which tastes better because she's used pink Himalayan sea salt. I get more electrolytes out of it, so I get a good bit of my electrolytes that I need for the day, especially because I have a very physical job, and I move around a lot. Despite being a big guy, you wouldn't think that I move around a lot, but I do. Especially if you're friends with me on Nike, you can see, not Nike, Nike Fuel Man. If you see on my Apple Watch, if you're friends with me on Apple Watch, you see I move a lot. Like most people's average is like 500 steps a day. I can do 1,500 steps a day and I'll still, or 1,500 move points a day and I'll still fail. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I need to wrap this up. Anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being with me and keeping me company while I'm kind of lamenting the death of a legend who was living right in front of us, and the loss of a family member of his. That's just like tragic, man. But more things to come. I've been your boy BK, helping you live life the player way, and helping you cooking it right. Well, I'll let you.